Women are the first victim of climate change.
Indigenous women today play a vital role in the fight against the climate crisis.
They are the ones who pollute, but we are the ones who suffer the consequences.
Hello and welcome to the 51%. I'm Annette Young, and you're probably wondering why I am risking my life as I attempt to ride a bike in one of the city's most popular bike lanes. You can blame, or rather thank, the Mayor of Paris, Anne Hidalgo, who's transforming the French capital into a green powerhouse. And with the COP30 climate talks kicking off in Brazil, we're going to be showcasing other women who are leading the fight against the climate crisis. It's said to be the voyage of a lifetime. These 6 activists, along with 3 professional sailors, are part of the Women Wave project, an all-female crew charting a course to Belém, Brazil, the location for the COP30 climate talks. Their aim, highlighting the link between feminism and climate action. The woman behind it all is Camille Etienne, one of France's best-known climate activists, often referred to as France's Greta Thunberg. The 27-year-old, who's become a social media influencer, will use her visit to Belém to urge governments to keep up their commitments. What can we hope will come out of these COP30 talks?
The first one may be that it won't be worse, and it could get really worse, you know. But I guess my hope is that we will manage to show the world that 10 years ago at the Paris Agreement, I was a child and I saw them, and I saw that, like, some of them were having tears in their eyes, and I was like, God, adults are finally take on, like, they're doing the job. So my only hope, the more realistic one, is to show the world, look, they are not doing the job. We can't count on them anymore. Like, they are not doing it. So we need to do the job that the representative was supposed to do. The second one is to expose why it's not working. And finally, to get the unrepresented voice a bit more heard, especially the one in the Amazonia forest that will be at the center of the COP.
You're sailing across to Brazil with an all-female crew.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
It's pretty simple, honestly. I think we really wanted to have fun with the girls. It's a special kind of sorority vibes. Like, you learn so much when you're like with your peer for a long period, especially on the boat. So I think it was also an empowerment thing. There's not a lot of women sailing crew. We don't speak that much about them. Like, when we think about a sailor, it's not a woman that you picture in your mind. So I think that was also part of what we wanted to do. But also because it's pretty simple. Like, women are the first victim of climate change. It's like 80% of the people that are climate refugee, basically, are women. Every time there's a climate disaster, women are in front line. And then you look at those negotiation rounds, and then you realize that only 10% of them are women. You're like, there's a gap that makes no sense. Like, it's not logical. So I think we wanted to counterbalance this and to show the representative to say, like, look, if we can do this and, like, cross the ocean to emit less carbon, being only women on board, like, doing the job, you can do at least a bit more.
Since we filmed this interview, the trip has been far from easy, as we see here from their social media posts. Battling seasickness and appalling weather, the journey has become an ultimate struggle against the elements. But for a seasoned activist like Camille Etienne, taking bold action to get the message across is nothing new. We have the war in Ukraine, we have the situation in Gaza, we're in a period of history where people are dealing with massive issues on a daily basis, yet all around them we are confronting a climate crisis. So how do you come up with different ideas to get them involved?
I think it's by explaining that climate is about justice. If you look back in history and look at the numbers and about the fact, like, for instance, Africa as a continent is only responsible for about 4% of the emission. yet they're in the front line of the consequences. So it's like a double injustice. About Ukraine, I worked a lot on the Ukrainian war with Ukrainian activists to basically show that our dependency to fossil fuel in Europe, in France, we're financing the army of Putin. So our dependency to fossil fuel is financing war. So if we transition, if we phase out, we also like fighting for more peace. And about Gaza, that's a genocide, but also an ecocide. Only 5% of the land in Gaza you can still like harvest on them, all of the other destroyed. When you become a climate activist, you do it because you have empathy for others.
It seems like empathy is out of fashion though, doesn't it?
It's Elon Musk that says empathy is the biggest threat to our modern civilization. He's very afraid of empathy. So I want to answer with even more empathy.
How do you not lose hope?
I don't think I have the luxury to fight only when there's hope. So I fight because we have to fight. I fight because there's no other choice. Because if I don't do it, I feel like I can't ask someone else to do it. We're facing a massive humankind threat. We do what we can do, that's all. And then on the way, we find hope. Because if we start doing the work, plot twist, turns out it can work. So then you find hope on the way.
10 years after the Paris Climate Accord, many nations are backing away from their pledges, and the US under Donald Trump is again withdrawing from the agreement.
This climate change, it's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world, in my opinion.
This as UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres warns humanity has also failed to limit global heating to the 1.5 degrees Celsius target, with devastating consequences ahead. For the first time, the COP climate talks will take place in the Amazon, an ecosystem vital to global stability, but severely threatened by deforestation. The region is home to hundreds of Indigenous communities whose knowledge and traditions, as Guterres and others note, offer valuable lessons on how to live in balance with nature.
This is an area where real estate developers want to take over the land. Here, there are forests and rivers, two defining features of our Teruma South region. If you go a bit further, you'll see everything has been deforested. So it's a struggle. Our community is a symbol of resistance against deforestation. We've become an ecologically protected area.
Wanda Witoto is a community leader and climate activist who lives in the Brazilian city of Manaus near the Amazon River.
We often bring school children here. We organise what we call forest listening. We hug the trees, talk to them, we enter the forest and speak to it, ask for permission. Because everything here is alive. Everything has a soul, so we speak to them.
Vanda's Indigenous name translates to angry ant in the local language, a fitting description for someone who champions the strength and resilience of the small but powerful. She frequently holds meetings to educate communities on how to fight against deforestation.
Indigenous women today play a vital role in the fight against the climate crisis. This is after years of battling to have our voices heard in decision-making spaces. More than 60% of Brazil's indigenous population lives outside of their ancestral territory because of ongoing threats to our land. Living in outlying territories teaches us to fight in new ways. Here, for example, after a land seizure, we had to reforest because when land is seized, everything is devastated, from the forest to the people and their homes. Our presence here is meant to reaffirm and remind people that our people have always lived here and that in the face of the climate struggle, these outlying territories are strongholds of resistance.
On the other side of the Atlantic, A 70-year-old grandmother in Senegal is not holding out much hope for any major breakthrough to emerge from these COP talks.
We want the rich countries to pay us compensation so that we can continue to work and earn a living. They are the ones who pollute, but we are the ones who suffer the consequences.
Binta Wayne began her working life as a bank clerk, but for the past 20 years her efforts have turned to preserving the Mbao forest, often called Senegal's green lung, near the village of Combe. Since 2005, she's led a group of local women transforming wastelands in the forest into thriving vegetable gardens.
I created this nursery and then we planted these.
Most of the women had never farmed before, but they learned quickly.
In 2006, they said it wouldn't last. The people who said it wouldn't last are now asking me for land to farm. So we're encouraged by the actions of people who used to discourage us. We grow to sell, to have some revenue. We protect the forest to avoid logging, moving around sand, and to avoid bushfires, so that we can plant again.
Here as elsewhere, their work is being severely impacted by climate change. But regardless, they refuse to give up the fight.
Changes in temperature are really affecting our produce. It's really having a negative impact. It's become more and more difficult with each passing year. As long as we have strength and good health, we'll keep going. That's why we're looking for successors to guide and to support in investing there.
These three women share the belief that tackling the climate crisis starts with innovation and the power of people coming together to drive real, lasting change.